Introduction is always cut off, but hi, my name is Courtney. I'm very passionate about helping women with invisible illnesses realize you can still lead a pretty healthy and active lifestyle. It's just not going to be the one that you had envisioned for yourself. The time is going to pass regardless, and it's up to you to make the best of your situation. And that's true for everybody, isn't it? I mean, life comes at you quick. You better quit living your life in a way that you don't like. If you're not happy, you need to change your life. And you know what? That's one of the greatest gifts that we have in this world, at least in my opinion. It's our ability to change. So you're not a tree. You're not stuck where you're planted. Grow, expand your horizons, get out of your comfort zone, which actually is a pretty good segue into tonight's topic. 8 things to remove from your life if you want to be happier and more successful. This information is from lifehack.org. Good website. I hate the name though. I don't know why it bugs me. I'm sure that they care. I'm sure they're losing sleep over that fact, but I don't know. It's just kind of cheesy anyway, which is funny because if you know my sense of humor, if you follow me on Twitter, I love cheesy. But anyway, I love cheesy jokes. I like cheesy movies. I don't so much like cheesy website names, apparently. Anyway, things that you need to remove from your life if you want to be happier and more successful. Number one, excuses. You know what an excuse is? It's a lie. It's a lie that you're telling yourself. That's all it is. Look, if you're not happy with where you are in life, making excuses isn't going to solve your problem. If it did, you wouldn't be where you are because you've been making excuses probably for quite a while. You have to accept responsibility for where you're at. It's not always easy to do it. And, self-reflection can be a bitch. That seems to be why so many people have a hard time with it. But, other people could have helped put you in situations that were less than ideal. But at the end of the day, you and only you are responsible for your life. You are the person. You are the common denominator. If everything around you sucks, you are the common denominator. And you know what? It's okay if that's where you're at. It is. You can fix it, but you can't fix a problem you won't face. So you've got to accept that responsibility. Number two, you need to let go of the idea of perfectionism. I see people do this a lot around the holidays and just going, excuse my language, but batshit crazy trying to make the perfect Thanksgiving or the perfect Christmas. Well, guess what? The perfect holiday does not exist outside of a studio production, whether it be a TV or movie studio or a studio where they're shooting an ad for the holidays. None of that shit's real. Why are you driving yourself crazy pursuing something that you will never be able to accomplish? And it's not that you're not capable of great things. It's that you're chasing something that you can't get. It's amazing how often people let that hold them back from trying anything. Well, if we don't try things if we don't stick with things that we're not good at, you'd have never learned how to walk. You would have never learned how to ride a bike. You'd have never learned how to write or read. Quit shooting for something you can't achieve. And there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with not being perfect. I used to tell my mom all the time that I was glad she wasn't perfect because shit, she was hard enough. She left big enough shoes for me to step into. Wow, I didn't expect that. I've been really grieving my mom the last few days. But my mom left big enough shoes for me to step into. Thank God she wasn't perfect because I'd have never been able to live up to that. Number 3, you need to let go of fear. Forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. It's your choice. You need to be bold. Don't minimize yourself. I used to be afraid to let people know. This is so silly to me now, but for a long time, I was afraid to let people know how much I love skulls. I have a thing, especially sugar skulls, but I like skulls. I have since I was young. I don't know why. It's just my thing. And I hid that for the longest time because I was like, oh my, a freaking middle-aged woman who still really loves skulls. What the hell is up with that? Well, you know what? It's just who I am. I don't know why, and it doesn't matter. If you don't like it, that's fine. I don't really give a damn. That's your problem. It's not. It's not mine, but I got tired of trying to minimize myself to fit into other people's expectations. And you know what? Once I stopped doing that and just said, screw it, I'm the crazy old lady who with wild hair who likes skulls and still wears a lot of black. As somebody told me once, I never really outgrew being a little goth girl. No, I didn't. That's just part of who I am. And if you don't like it, that's fine. That's your problem. I don't really give a shit. I'm not going to minimize myself to make you feel better. That's really not my responsibility. Number 4, you need to let go of the need to control everything because you can't. That's as ridiculous as chasing perfectionism. Things happen. You can't control what other people are going to say or do. You can't control the events that are unfolding around you most of the time. I mean, who the hell could control COVID? Who's been able to control a lot of the social problems that we've been having? You cannot control other people. You cannot control the world around you. But you know what you can control? You can learn how to control how you choose to respond to things, how you choose to respond when somebody's ugly to you, when things happen that are totally out of your control and you're getting caught up in something that you really don't want to be a part of. You know what? That sucks. But you can still control how you choose to respond to that. I like to say respond instead of react. To me, and this is just my opinion, and you know what they say about opinions, but reaction is that initial gut, oh gosh, damn, I'm so mad. That's a reaction. You should always, always try to take an emotional step back, take a deep breath, and respond. Because that is, you can only control yourself. That's it. You can't control anything around you to a large degree. Most things around you are totally out of your control. So take that emotional step back, take a big deep breath, and just focus on controlling how you choose to respond. Number 5, you need to let go of a fixed mindset. You need to learn to love learning. If you're not growing, you cannot grow if you have a stagnant mindset. You cannot grow if you think you know everything. You don't. You don't, guaranteed. But you can't grow if that's your attitude. And if you're not growing, in my opinion, you're not really living. You're existing. I existed for a long time. It really sucked. I was very depressed. I hated my life. And you know what? I'm a hell of a lot unhealthier now than I was then, and I'm a lot happier. Why? Because I don't have a fixed mindset, because I let go of my need to control everything. I never had a perfectionism thing, I don't think. Anyway, number 6, you need to let go of your desire for overnight success. You know why? Because unless you win the lottery, which is so freaking unlikely, there is no such thing. I get so irritated when you see people touted out by the media. Well, she's an overnight success. He's an overnight success. No, they're not. No, they're not. Those people spent a hell of a lot of time learning whatever it is that they're good at, whatever it is that they're being lauded for. There's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes that you're not aware of. But there is no such thing as an overnight success. Suck it up, put on your big girl or your big boy pants, and do the work. One of the coolest things is success leaves a trail. So if you want what somebody else has, don't be pissed because you think that they're an overnight success. They're not. In the digital age, if it's someone who's very successful at all, there's going to be a ton of stories out there that you can find that'll talk about their background, so you'll know where they came from, and you can get a pretty good idea of the steps they followed to get from point A to point B. And guess what? If you want to do that, you can. You just follow that pattern. You follow their footsteps. Number 7, this one's really important. You need to let go of toxic people. Life is too short for nasty people. It just is. It just is. Look, I have a very simple litmus test for people that I allow into my life. Do they lift me up? Because if you don't lift me up, I don't got time, patience, or energy for your crap. Move on. That's just the way I feel about it. I had a friend a long time ago, and she was actually the first person that when I first started, hey, I got to get my shit together. I'm just going to keep getting fatter and sicker and more unhappy. And I had to cut this woman out of my life. She was one of my closest friends at the time. But all she ever did was complain and pull me down. And I would come in the door from a long day at work. I got a lot of health issues. Not a lot of people in my situation hold down a full-time job. I do. The last thing I need when I come through the front door at night is to pick up the phone and have somebody telling me, someone who has been home all day now. I'm not saying a stay at home mom is an easy job. It's not, but it was the job she chose. And I would walk in the door and she'd call me and do nothing but complain and bitch and moan in her life and the kids and the dogs and the house and her husband. And I finally realized that I just dreaded every time she called. So I started very politely just distancing myself. I'm sorry, I can't do that. I'm not available. I'm sorry, I can't talk. I'm not available. And she finally said something to me one day. And she asked me, or she said to me, I know why we're not friends anymore. It's because I have so many problems. And I said, no, Michelle, that's not it. And it was not it, because for goodness sakes, that's ridiculous. I have problems out the wazoo. That's not the issue. My issue was all she did was complain. She never tried to help herself. Well, I don't fault her for being in a bad situation. I don't fault her. I don't even fault her for not having the tools available to know how to start looking at the bright side and how to start educating herself. But she could see the changes that were going on in my life. She commented on them often about how much happier I seemed. But she wouldn't take the advice. She wouldn't follow in my footsteps. She would not follow my trail of success in that area. And so I cut her out of my life. And I don't feel bad. I did for a while, but I really don't. Every time I start to feel bad, I think about how I would feel when I would have these conversations with her about how horrible her life was. And then she just flat out refused to help herself. Nope, I didn't feel bad anymore. But please don't be mean to people. Okay, don't be cruel. Just be politely unavailable. Number 8. If you are dealing with health issues, this is very important for you. In fact, when I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, the doctor that I was having the conversation with told me point blank this was going to be an issue for me. You need to let go of the desire to say yes. This is something that, I'm a people pleaser by nature. I tend to be, I can really dig in my heels and be a raving bitch. I can. I don't like to. I try not to, but I tend to go too far the other direction as well. And I tend to be, oh, it's fine. I'll just go along because it's easier than arguing. And that's not good either because people push you around. But if you're dealing with health issues, you know that you tend to say yes to crap you have no interest in doing, you don't want to do, you don't have the time, energy, or patience to do it. But you feel so bad that you're not able to do the things that you want to do, the things that you feel that you should be doing. So you overpromise and you say, yes, by all means, I will tackle that project for you. And as you say the words, your inner voice is screaming, what the hell are you doing? No, you got to let go of that. Look, if someone asks you to do something and you really don't want to do it, just simply say, no, thank you. As a former friend, and that sounds negative. It's not that we had a falling out, we just drifted apart. But a former friend used to always say, and I just love this, no is a complete sentence. You don't owe anybody an explanation. That being said, I am a people pleaser, so I will give you an explanation if I tell you no. But I don't owe you that. No, thank you. I appreciate you thinking about me, but I'm going to pass. That's all you got to say. You need to remember if people know that you're a people pleaser, oh, I'm said that was an awkward sentence. That's the fun of winging it. But when people know that that's who you are, that you're going to say yes just because you don't have enough spine to say no, they're going to use you. They're going to take advantage of you. And you know what? It's your own fault because you have not set and stood behind your boundaries in that area. That's just a fact. I know, tough love time, tough love. But you know what? All the stuff that I come on here and talk to you guys about, it's all stuff that I'm dealing with in my own life. So, and then here is my bonus tip of things you should let go of if you want to be happier, more successful. Number 9, comparisons. For the love of God, stop comparing yourself to other people. For one thing, you have no idea. You have no idea what's really going on in their life. Think about the people that you know. Think about the people that you would say you know very well. How much do you really know? about what goes on in their head, about what goes on behind closed doors? Probably not much. So when you compare yourself to other people, you it's not a fair assessment. Like Kate Spade. Kate Spade was a handbag designer. She designed other things, but handbags was what she was real known for. Beautiful work. I have several of her pieces. I love them very much. They're gorgeous. But pretty much any metric, Kate Spade on the surface had everything. Wildly successful. She had a husband who reportedly adored her. She had kids. Kate Spade committed suicide. Anthony Bourdain. Anthony Bourdain had on the surface pretty much everything. Again, wildly successful. He had cookbooks. Actually, I don't know if he had cookbooks. I know he had books. He had TV shows. He was very successful in his field. He was one of the top in his field because there's not a lot of chefs. Let's be honest. There's really not a lot of chefs. When you look at how many people are out there that cook for a living, there's not a lot of them that are household names. Anthony Bourdain committed suicide. You don't know what you're looking at. You only know, especially when you're talking about a celebrity, you only know of anybody what they've chosen to share with you. And when it's a celebrity, you know even less. You know what their people, their handlers have decided you need to know. You don't know what they're dealing with behind the scenes. If you have to compare yourself to somebody, if you can't stand, well, first of all, you're robbing yourself of your own happiness. You truly are. But if you just can't stop yourself, then you need to compare yourself to people who are a lot less fortunate than you are, because that's going to help you remember to be grateful for the things that you have in life. And being grateful for where you are, that doesn't mean by any stretch that you don't want more, that you don't think you could do better, that you don't think you're capable of more. It just means that you love yourself and you accept yourself, and you know what, this is where things are at. And maybe it's not the best place, but I've got all these really good things going for me. Telling you, that stuff makes a difference. It really, it's all little stuff, but it's the little stuff that makes the big stuff. Anyway, that's all I have for tonight. I am feeling so much better. I think I've finally put the COVID behind me. Yesterday was awful, but I didn't sleep again Saturday night. So, it gets really complicated when you have chronic health issues and then you get something wild on top of it, and trying to sort out which symptom goes with which illness. It's almost impossible. But yes, I'm feeling a hell of a lot better today. Thank goodness. Those of you on Twitter who've been very kind and supportive, I appreciate you very much. I will be back Wednesday at 5:00 Alaska time. Look, if you have any questions, I'm not an expert. I'm just some chick on the internet, but I will tell you this. I went from being severely depressed to the point of being suicidal. I lived in that spot for a long ass time. It was terrible. I'll be really, really blunt with you. This isn't something I really like to talk about because I'm a super positive person now. But the only reason I never went through with it is I couldn't do that to my parents. Thank God. Thank God. But that's the only reason I'm still here. But if I can do that, I know you can do that. And you know what? When I first started, I didn't spend a penny because I didn't believe enough in myself. I didn't think I had the money. I didn't think I was worth it. All the shit that you're telling yourself when you come down to these things. But if you want to get started, if you're tired of being unhappy, you don't know what to do, drop me a line on Twitter at Alaskan Courtney. I try to be very responsive, and I will be delighted to share with you a lot of the free resources that made a huge difference in my life. Because at the end of the day, it's a choice. You can choose to focus on the negative things in your life and feel sorry for yourself and, oh, poor pitiful Pearl. Or you can choose to go, well, okay, maybe things aren't real stellar right now, but I have all these good things going for me. Focus on the things that you're grateful for. Focus on the good things in your life, because you know what? You get what you put out there. So if you focus on all the negativity and you focus on being envious of other people or wanting to be an overnight success or whatever the hell you're focusing on, if it's negative, you're just going to bring more of that into your life. So why not try a little gratitude? See what it does for you. Anyway, I'm rambling. You guys have a great night. I will be back Wednesday at 5 o'clock Alaska time. Thanks.